How is
Hello,
going?
hello, and welcome. I'm good. I'm enjoying the weather. Like I probably said it last, like in the 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I said it like it's so unreal. There is sun in Cork, and 2 weeks later, and the sun is still there. It's a little bit colder, but I'm so enjoying it. It's like the proper spring. How are you, Stefania?
I'm good. I'm good. As you can see, I have a son as well, so I can't complain at all. Um, it's incredible how much power Anna has on me, my energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Like the walks are so amazing now.
Spring is here, summer is coming, and we are almost at the middle of the year. So, I mean, we can just track our progress as well. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, we are in the middle of our series for helping with the change. That it's something that is gonna be needed in our personal life and in our working life as well. Every time that we feel stuck, we need to change. And Barbara and I believe that change can be painful from time to time because it just requires to leave our comfort zone. And nobody would likes to leave the comfort zone. And so we just thought it was a good idea to support you with this series where we're going to identify 5 steps for being successful in connecting with our change and transforming our life. Is it correct?
yeah. No, I can only agree here. And yeah, well, like we are human beings, right? So even though we want to make changes in our lives, we don't want to stay in one place. We are also human beings, and by nature, we don't really like changes because, as you said, it is going out of comfort zone, and that might be scary or it might be like too much overwhelming. And yeah, but also it is so worth it when we actually are able to cope with that, and then when we are able to make the change in our lives. And it doesn't matter whether it is like a change, like for example starting a new routine, or a change in career. The steps that we are going through here in this small series, because last week we talked about self, or not self-awareness, but awareness and also self-awareness, and this week we are going to talk about acceptance. And we have like 3 more topics for coming weeks as well. And of course, like without action, and nothing that we'll discuss will be really helpful. But we'll then also be able to add the action to that while following the steps. Then it might bring some ease to the process.
Yeah, just to summarize, like since you talked about actions, action is going to be the last step of this series, so it's going to be the number 5. We started with awareness. This one is the second steps with acceptance. Then we're going to have how to cope, so accountability, and then adaptability, because we just need to adapt to the new condition if we want to leave our comfort zone. And then as a final one, as you were mentioning, not one of the steps is going to be successful if we actually are not going to do any action for changing from the state A to go to the state B. So the final step of this series is going to be action. It's going to be about the action. So I think it's going to be a good idea to start talking about acceptance. And so starting the topic about this class. So just to summarize, last week we have talked about awareness. And we had said that what actually is important at the beginning is just like being acknowledgeable that there is a problem. We are unhappy how we can cope. I mean, like we are stuck. And the first step that we need to have in our minds is be aware of it. So nothing more. It's not complicated, but if we are not aware, we can't just work on it. So after we're gonna be aware, we just need to accept that we actually need to change something, right? This is the point of everything. I have a quote. Let me take it. And it says, like, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So, I mean, this is our quote for connecting to classes. And the only way, so for accepting that our tomorrow is going to be different from today, is by accepting that we need to leave our comfort zone. And this is very complicated because our brain doesn't like at all to break routine. Every time we get used to something, our brain is gonna try to relax, because at the end of the day, the first instinct that it has is survival. So once it's gonna find familiar with an action, with an environment, with a situation, our brain just think, okay, we are fine now, we are safe, and we are okay where we are. We don't need to change anything, because otherwise, if we're gonna change something, we're gonna go again in the survival mode. And this is why actually it's so complicated for ourselves leaving our comfort zone. We are always talking about the comfort zone. If you want to be happy, just find a comfort zone. Or if you want to be happy, just leave your comfort zone. I mean, there are two ways of talking about comfort zone in the world. But this is the reason why it's so complicated. Our brain doesn't like it at all. And what does it mean? It means that we are gonna go in a pain moment, and we need to accept it. It's gonna be fine. Everyone is gonna go into a down moment every time we want to do something. You're not gonna be the last one on it, and you just need to accept it. Otherwise, if you don't accept this pain that is coming from your comfort zone and going again in the survival mode, what is gonna actually happen is just like you're gonna be sure your tomorrow is gonna be us today.
Yeah, well, this sounds so easy. Like you just need to accept it, right? Like once you are aware that this is happening to you, then like accept it. But like you are right that to like make a change, or change is happening outside of the comfort zone, right? As you mentioned, and the growth is happening there as well. And so therefore the acknowledgement and acceptance are the big topics of today, because and as we were talking last week, when you have a goal, like for example to like I feel like I hear it all the time lately on social media. Maybe it's my algorithm, but like about supportive thoughts and about like having the right mindset to achieve our goals and to be that girl or that successful person. Last week, we talked about the importance of knowing and being aware that we have also judgmental thoughts, and so like to develop this positive mindset actually by acknowledging it, it will help you to just like say, oh, okay, this is happening, and I have the choice to do something about it, to go from there. And that's helpful. And that's why it is important to have this acceptance as well as part of the process. Because if we'll start judging that, oh, like, but like I have so many negative thoughts, and like again, I had such a I'm not mindful response or so aggressive response to my partner, or like, yeah, I got in a conflict with my manager, and again, like, this happened, then the judgment will just keep us stuck. And therefore, I believe that before, like, leaving this comfort zone, like, when we are struggling with a problem, before we make actually meaningful changes, we must first accept that we have a problem, or that this is happening to us, and that we aren't in complete control, and that we have some limitations, and that we have patterns, that we have habits that we are working on to change, and that's the reality of our circumstances. And when we this accept, then we can also make the choice, and make the choice to get out there, get out of the comfort zone, get to the world, you name it. I know that people don't like the word comfort zone, according to my research that I did for my studies. And the same is with procrastination, actually. People don't like the word, even though, like, when you snooze when you hit the snooze button in the morning, you are already procrastinating. But we don't really like the word. But anyways, back to the topic. Acceptance gives us the choice, and helps us to then choose how to go from there. What do you think about it?
Do you think that the choice is before or after accept the change?
Well, I believe, or like, I think that you have always choice, and you also run on autopilot. And so when you run on autopilot, you don't really have a choice, because you don't really think about your actions, or you don't really choose, but like, your body, your mind, everything just reacts the way that it does. But like, if you bring more awareness to it, then it provides the space to make the choice. So I would say it depends when you create the awareness.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. It all makes sense. So we can actually say that, I mean, a change is always part of the personal growth somehow. I mean, for me, no matter what, a positive or negative change is always personal growth, because even if it's going to be a negative one, you already know after that what you don't want in your life. So personal growth somehow wants some sort of discomfort. Yeah. And the discomfort is gonna disappear in the moment where we're gonna normalize the new condition that we need to accept, right? So normalize, I feel like, is gonna be a key word here for accepting something. I feel like we need to normalize. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, we are going back to what I said at the beginning, or like it is connected. Not we are not going back, but it is connected with the fact that we are human beings and we are learning. We are not perfect, and we want to grow. Yet we also have some challenges along the way, or some discomforts along the way, some difficulties along the way that we want that we have to cope with it, or we can, or not, or but and as well we choose to like work with in that area or in that area, and we have like the choice. So yeah, definitely, like um the word
Okay.
normalized, or like being okay with, that's helping towards our self-compassion to ourselves, that we are just human beings who are trying our best.
Yeah, and just to connect to what you said before, like the definition of acceptance at the end of the day, just seeing clearly without any resistance or denial or like judgment, as you were saying earlier. And if we want to talk about acceptance in the business, uh, because I mean, I work with business, so you work with personal human beings, but business are made by people in any case. So we are going to translate this topic inside business. I would say that acceptance happens when leaders actually face the market realities. So maybe your business is not growing, it's not going as expected, and you're just facing the market realities, or that you have a dysfunctional team, or for some reason you have some internal block inside your processes. Usually, these are the main reason why you need a change inside a business. Would just like to connect
Yeah.
also with my audience a little.
I actually have a question here, if I may ask. Like
And,
regarding your experience, like what is the biggest pain point, or like what happens if there is no acceptance, if there is no awareness and therefore no acceptance of that current situation or reality?
well, I feel like, I mean, it's, I feel like we already know the answer. It's just like sooner or later, your business is gonna fall. I feel like that now after COVID, it's also more clear because COVID didn't change anything. You know, many times, so many times, I'm hearing companies saying like, you know, before wasn't like that. We were great. We didn't have any problem. COVID is a problem here, etc. But the reality is that we are 5 years after COVID, and we can't use this excuse anymore. So if you are still saying something like that, it means like you are not accepting that the market changed, people changed, so your employee or your or the stakeholder of your project somehow changed. We are 5 years ahead, and I mean, it's normal. It's part of the history. Every history book says the same. So, in my idea, for what I have seen in my experience, it's just like if you don't change, I mean, it always happens that somehow you need to change something in your company. The most visual example that I can say, just like if you have, for example, a shop that sells clothes, I mean, you can't, you are like in the 80s, you can't keep selling the clothes that were okay 70s. You need to revise the product that you're selling. You need to revise like the dynamics, the processes, etc. So And what I'm seeing is just like many times, building up a company is complicated. It's not something that is going to happen overnight, and it's going to require a lot of sacrifices. And the people are just, when they are going to reach their goal in terms of revenue, in terms of constancy, whatever is going to be their goal, because everyone has their own goal. So I don't want to make an assumption. It's just like they are gonna chill out, and they can't face realities anymore, because, as we were saying, it's gonna be another pain, and they want some kind of relax. There was some kind of peace. But if you don't face the change, later you're gonna have a bigger pain, because you need to change, and at the same time, for example, budget in your revenue is just falling down, so you don't have, for example, the money to invest in marketing, or like in coaching anymore, or like you have lost. I feel like the worst one is when you lose reputation with your clients. So like you're not attracting people anymore. And the worst one is when you are not attracting the best men in the market anymore. So in my experience, I'm seeing like so many companies that are like, if we are 10 years old, many of them are not willing to change, and the pain after is just bigger than facing a change today.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's this growing issue in the background, isn't it? And that's similar to our personal lives, because like when there is a need to make a change or to do something different, or like even like to do the change in the career, right? Or to go for because like we are not fulfilled with our current career path, if we'll ignore it and not face it because the current position gives us money so that we can pay off the debt from school or something, then like in the like we will keep showing up for work, but like in the background, it meaning like in our body and like slowly like with our mindset and like internally will stop functioning, or like will be more and more overwhelmed, more and more or like less and less emotionally aware and mentally aligned, and the energy will go down, and it will be then harder and harder to get actually from that cycle.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I believe that there are so many similarities if we are talking about business, or if we are talking about human beings. And this is why we are here together. Because, for example, if we talk about an employee, there is mainly your client type. The employee, I mean, is going to say, I don't want to change today, so I'm going to keep on going. But if this negative environment, toxic situation is gonna last too long, it's gonna the employee is gonna normalize that the toxic condition has what is gonna expect, and for my own experience and the one of so many of my colleagues as well, the reality is just like after a while you're gonna lose yourself. So if company is just losing reputation, clients, money in the revenue, the employee on your side is just gonna lose themselves. And when they're gonna lose themselves, it's just more complicated to rebuild who you are. And pay attention, the who you are now is just not the same as who you were before. because you had just in thousands of pieces, and you need to glue all of them.
Yeah.
So I feel like that not accepting the change, it's so dangerous, no matter how we want to see it. To see it as a human beings, you just are gonna lose yourself. If you want to see it in numbers, the businesses, it's just like you're gonna lose the business.
Yeah. And I feel like change requires some deep work or like some transformation, and acceptance actually helps us to adapt to the change. Meaning like that, like if you want to change, there are things that are stopping you, internal factors, external factors, or like internal factors as the mindset, emotion, external factors like, for example, the environment, workplace, or workspace. And so the more resistance we have around that, or the more resistance actually the employee has in the situation that you said, the less likely you'll be able to let it go, that there is like something old and that there is something new, and that will be less likely chance to actually move on. And yeah. This like acceptance is needed anywhere to actually let go of things and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is the only way. And I have put some notes, and for example, I have that for practical tool, we just need to name the change that we want to do. It's gonna help us in accepting, so name it for shaping it. And if we are gonna talk in terms of business, we need to do like a reality test. So be honest. Don't try to find the shortcuts, and use what is called the SWOT analysis. It's SWOT, where S stands for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunities, and T for threat. So if you're gonna analyze in the same package strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat, you're gonna find out what is the problem that is actually stuck in you, and from there you can work on the acceptance. And yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, the question it's always like what are you not willing to feel? So because if you want to change, we want to change usually from a pain point and not from a happy point, right? So the question for everything is just like ask yourself, what am I actually not willing to feel anymore, in terms of personal, in terms of business, and from there you can work. I see we have some questions.
Yeah, actually I wanted to say here, I like this question that's directed to you, Stefania. What would be some barriers that are not personal choice that may not allow you to accept the changes?
Would be some barriers that are not personal. I mean, this is tricky. Because I mean, we are here. It's asking like that are not personal choices, but I do believe that there are things that are out of our control. There are things that are inside of our control. So if I'm thinking something like not a personal choice, I feel like it's an action or a situation that it's happening, it's out of my control. So in this case, I just need to reverse again everything inside of me. To say, okay, this is out of my control. I can't change what I am receiving, but I can change myself. So I can decide like if receiving this situation or like moving. But it's always an internal choice. So even if it's a barrier coming from outside, I can decide if I want to cross the barrier or I want to move somewhere else. But it's my personal choice.
Yeah, I totally agree here. And like when I first read the question, I was like, I was like back when I was working in corporate, and they would change a workflow for us, which would make things much more difficult, or which would just waste our time. Or they would change the software for just like booking personal time off, and that would be so like training, and like you would have to accept it because you can't really do anything about it. It is, as you say, out of your control. And so yes, there are external factors, or like there are things that we didn't make a choice around, but now we have to accept it and we have to work around it, and it is maybe part of our workflow now. But what we have in control is or are these internal factors, our approach to it, our attitude to it. We have the choice to let it train us, or let it like really make us angry, or to complain. And yeah, like in the end, what will change? Like, of course we can make a complaint about that, but we also what did I want to say? Like we can make a complaint about it, but like internally, like when we accept it and when we like see, okay, how can I support myself to support me through this change, then I think that's helpful, or that would be helpful. And I wish I knew that back when I was in corporate, because I would get really gossipy around all these changes.
Well, I believe that you have bring on the table a very like a good example, because I mean, look at the reality right now. You are not working for the corporate anymore. You are working for your own self, and you have just created your own workflow. So, I mean, in the day when you have received the new workflow by the corporate, in that day you were there and say like, okay, I need to accept it, and I can just do a deeper breath before starting this new workflow. But inside you are questioning yourself, am I happy or am I not? In that case, based on your result, I would say like you were not happy and you have decided to shape your own way. So this is what I was saying before, like, okay, that is completely out of your control because someone else has decided a new workflow. And probably you have also tried to go to the boss and says like, I mean, this new workflow is working for you guys, but it's not working for us in the delivery. And I mean, this feedback has been listened or not, but the reality just like you have decided by yourself that you wanted something different, and today you're living something. You have worked for it, you have made the change. So I feel like that it's always an internal decision. Even if in the day, okay, we need to accept it, fine, but deeply, what is happening inside?
Yeah.
And I also believe that it's okay if you have discovered later so many realities. I am in the same. Like, if I knew that this was happening, I was completely acting differently in the past. But the best teacher in life is living our lives, and making mistakes is the best teacher. I don't want even to call it a mistake here. It's just like experience, and you decide what is and what is not. That's it.
Yeah, I like that. I'm conscious about the time. Shall we leave the rest for in 2 weeks, where we'll talk about the next topic towards change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I mean, we are already 6 minutes over time. So thank you, Barbara, for being here today. We're gonna meet again the 13th of April for the third session. The next topic is gonna be accountability. So how can you cope with that? And thank you, Damiano, for your questions here. And for whoever is not gonna be online, you can always watch this record that is gonna be saved on LinkedIn. And I feel like it's gonna be time to close down this live because time is over already. And thank you all for being here, and see you the 30th.
See you in 2